Everyone knows the story of the Titanic. The unsinkable ship, the tragic iceberg, the heroes, the legends. But what if I told you that the real story, the darkest secret of that fateful night, has been whitewashed, buried beneath layers of romanticized heroism and polite society? What if the true horrors weren't just the freezing water, but the monstrous acts committed by humans against each other in the desperate fight for survival? You think you know the Titanic? Prepare to have your perception shattered, because the events in those lifeboats, the very symbols of salvation, reveal a terrifying truth about humanity's capacity for cruelty when faced with unimaginable terror. This isn't the history they teach you in movies. This is a chilling, unvarnished reality. Let's start with the most infamous cover-up, the empty seats. You've heard that there weren't enough lifeboats, a common misconception. But the truth is far more damning. Many of the lifeboats launched were half empty. We're talking about hundreds of available spaces, floating just meters from the screams of 1,000 dying souls. Why? The official story blames panic, confusion, inexperience. But listen to the accounts, the forgotten testimonies, and a darker picture emerges. Officers, terrified of swamping the boats, often refuse to go back. Passengers, already safe, sometimes threaten those who suggested returning. Imagine the moral calculus. You're safe, but knowing hundreds are drowning within earshot. And here's the truly horrifying part. Some survivors recounted being actively prevented from going back, not by the ship's crew, but by other passengers. The fear wasn't just of sinking. It was a primal, selfish fear of sharing their fragile safety. The image of those tiny wooden vessels, packed with the chosen few, while the ocean became a graveyard, isn't just a tragedy. It's a testament to chilling indifference. But the most egregious example, the one that truly exposes the depravity, is lifeboat number 1, also infamously known as the Millionaire's Boat. This lifeboat, designed for 40 people, launched with a mere 12 souls aboard. 12. Among them, the wealthy Sir Cosmo and Lady Duff Gordon and her secretary. As the Titanic sank, as thousands cried out for help, what did they do? Did they go back? Did they rescue the drowning? No, they rowed away. And here's where it gets truly disgusting. The crew in the boat allegedly wanted to turn back, but the Duff Gordons offered them money, £5 each, to not go back and risk being swamped by desperate swimmers. Imagine that. A bribe paid to abandon hundreds to their watery graves. A full inquiry later condemned them, but the damage was done. This wasn't panic. This was a cold, calculated act of self-preservation at the cost of countless lives. It's a stain on the Titanic's legacy that polite historians often gloss over. The horrors weren't limited to the half-empty boats. In chaotic, freezing hours after the sinking, primal instincts took over in other lifeboats. You won't learn this in history books, but there were credible accounts of desperate acts of violence. Men trying to climb aboard crowded boats were reportedly beaten back with oars, their hands stomped on, their heads pushed under the freezing water. The screams of those rejected, begging for a space, haunt the few testimonies that dared to speak of it. Imagine clinging to the side of a boat, seeing faces of people safe inside, pleading for your life, only to be met with brutal force. And the psychological toll? Many survivors from overloaded boats later struggle with immense guilt, haunted by the faces of those they pushed away or simply watched drown. The ocean wasn't the only killer that night. The sheer animalistic drive for survival turned many humans into something monstrous. Why were these stories suppressed? Why isn't this part of the official Titanic narrative? Because it's ugly. It exposes the fragility of civility, the stark class divisions, and the terrifying truth that in extremist, heroism isn't always a default. The survivors, especially those in the underfilled boats, carried immense guilt, often choosing silence over condemnation. The inquiries focused on structural failures and regulations, not the moral failings of those who survived. It was easier to mourn the dead and celebrate the few heroes than confront the uncomfortable truth that many survived by ignoring or even actively preventing others from joining them. The memory of the Titanic was carefully curated to be a tale of grand tragedy, not a chilling indictment of human nature, but the whispers of the truly dark secrets, the ones they covered up in those lifeboats, still echo in the depths. The Titanic wasn't just a ship that sank. It was a crucible that revealed the best and the absolute worst of humanity. The image of those lifeboats, bobbing on the icy waves, isn't just a symbol of rescue. It's a stark reminder of the dark choices made, the lives forsaken, and the inconvenient truths carefully swept under the rug of history. If these disturbing hidden facts about the Titanic made you question everything you thought you knew, maybe hit that subscribe button, because there are plenty more horrifying truths that textbooks conveniently leave out. And trust me, you haven't heard anything yet.